Hi, how you doing? Welcome back to Smoking Cheltenham. Hope you're good. Yeah, today we'll just have a look back at the weekend's racings. I've got two 7-1 selections for Cheltenham and a selection for the Thyestes. Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, I hope you're good. Hope you backed a few winners. Hope you had a better weekend than me with the punting. Weren't my best this weekend. I did actually do a video for you Friday, but it were a bit of a mad rush. It was only a short video, 15 minutes or so. But because I was rushing, I didn't even test the sound. And just before uploading it, I just thought, well, I'll just make sure. And the sound came through really quiet, so. But don't worry about it. I think, if anything, you didn't miss much there and maybe saved you a few quid as well. Yeah, I've done well most weekends this season. I think that was my third losing weekend of the season, so not bad. Normally manage to make a few quid at least, but yeah, not so good this weekend. Personally, I started well enough with Asian Master on Saturday. Backed him odds against, thought he looked a cracking bet. I thought, here we go, away, we're off and running here. But then I took on Manila Kakuna with Henry's horse, which weren't the best decision. And I went for Willie's horse in the bumper. That saved a chance. That lost by that much, didn't it? 5-4 took for that. I thought the odds on this. Yesterday, only by night, was the nap of the weekend. Yeah, she was disappointing. Got on around twos on Betfair for her. Again, well back, disappointing. Hauturier, thought looked a cracking bet at 5-4. She were well backed, she were beat as well. And the other one I played, they did dangle some carrot there, we appreciate it, at 8-1. I had to have a little bit on that, that was just a ridiculous price. But I did manage to get out that race a bit. The Allaho went the right side even money about 5 minutes before the off, so I managed to get out that unscathed anyway. But yeah, not the best from me. And then last night, so doing these videos when you've had a good weekend and everything, it's like, yeah, happy away doing all my notes and stuff, preparing. Last night I was just like, nah, just wanted to forget about the racing. Have a chill night, just watching the telly with the wife, so I've left it all till this morning. I knew there weren't that much to do, to be fair, but I think it's funny, gambling. It's kind of almost frowned upon in it, it's sort of getting that way, same way as smoking. Not that I'd recommend smoking, but gambling now, I don't know. I think they should teach gambling at school. I do. In fact, I think they should make it compulsory. Gambling on horses, anyway. I do. I just think it teaches you so much in life. You get so many life lessons from gambling. It teaches you resilience. You need that, don't you? It teaches you problem solving. Each race is a puzzle, isn't it? Teaches you mathematics. Teaches you money management. You need some of that, don't you? It teaches you self-belief, to trust yourself. Don't get too swayed by daft buggers like me. Yeah, I'd say it teaches you a lot about your mentality. I'd say gamblers tend to have a great sense of perspective on life as well. They don't tend to sweat the small stuff so much, And there's a kind of moral code there as well. I'd say, if you went in a bookies you're not been in before, and maybe they overpaid you 20 quid or so, you might be out the door, it's I was against them, in it, that sort of thing. But if you went in that same bookies and you saw a fellow punter there drop £20 on the floor, like, you'd be like, all right, mate, yeah, you dropped 20 there, you know. And it gives you hope, doesn't it, as well? Especially, you know, for the working man, it gives you hope there that one day you might just hit that life-changing win, you know. So, yeah, I think it should be compulsory. I do. So that's going off on a bit of a tangent here, aren't we? Having a bit of a ramble. But we'll get to the racing then. Saturday then at Navan. Yeah, 2 mile novice hurdle. Great race this. It were. Asian Master beat Better Days Ahead by 10 lengths. I don't think the winner is a Cheltenham horse, but he's progressing nicely. The interesting thing from a point of view of Cheltenham, I'd say, is the second horse here, Better Days Ahead. This looked clearly like a run to get a mark for the Martin Pipe. You need 4 runs, don't you, for the Martin Pipe. Dropped into 2 mile here, seemed a bit, you know, yeah, he was just after that handicap mark. So I'm not putting him up for the Martin Pipe, but I'd say that's where he's going anyway. He's going to be some sort of contender there. So a lot of these races, because I kind of left it till this morning, I haven't gone into so much depth with a lot of them. 2.5 mile maiden hurdle. My trump card beat Dr. Eggman half a length. Yeah, they finished legless here, didn't they? They did. The winner's going to the Albert Bartlett, I think, and he'd be a contender there. It won't be at the top of my shortlist, but he's a contender. The second horse here, Dr. Eggman, I kind of like this horse. I think he's only a handicapper, but I'd be interested in him, like 3 mile, decent ground for Punchestown. I can just see him in one of them 3 mile Punchestown handicap hurdles, this horse. Yeah, so he's on my radar. 3 mile beginners, yeah, Manila Kakuna beat Senior Chief, best part of 3 lengths here. They clocked a decent time here as well in relation to the 3 mile handicap chase. He set off in a line of 5. Manila Kakuna, he was slow at that. At the second fence, they were line of 3. Manila Kakuna were just a length behind. Again, he was the slowest of them 4. At third, they were line of 4. They all jumped fine there, and Manila Kakuna moved on into the lead. Landrake sat second, with Senior Chief third. At the 5th, Kakuna jumped well. Landrake was slow, and that horse, he jumped poorly in general for most of the race, and he was eventually pulled up 3 out after a shocker. He won't be in a rush to battle that fella anytime soon over fences. Manila Kakuna, after those first couple, he was mainly good after that. He did get noticeably out-jumped by Senior Chief at the 8th and at the 12th. Those two were kind of kept wide apart. At the 4th last, Senior Chief started to be asked a question. Manila Kakuna was always travelling over his rival, really, from that point. And he were really good over the last 2, and he won this well. He's got course form, Cheltenham course form, and he came second in the Albert Bartlett behind the Nice Guy. It's funny, this horse. Do you know, watching him over hurdles, I just said, I always thought he'd maybe want dropping to the Turners trip, I could have seen him under a forceful ride at 2.5. But he got the 3 well here. Like I say, the time were decent. And I don't think his jumping would be up to a Turner's. He looks more a Brown's and even a 4 miler really. I'd probably based on his jumping. I'd say maybe he's more a 4 miler type, but I mean Willie's got so many balls to juggle, hasn't he? He paid an handsome compliment to Fat to File, I guess. It was well beaten behind him at Christmas, although he's clearly come on a ton for that, But yeah, this was good. It were. And he's thrown his hat into the ring for Cheltenham, I'd say. Sunday, Lingfield. 2 mile mares novice. Oh, Betty won this by nose. Originally, Aston Martini were first past the line and the stewards reversed the placings there. Only by night were another 6 lengths back in third. Yeah, she never looked to me to be jumping or travelling. Yeah, she didn't quite look the same horse to me. Given the impression she's made up to now on me, I'd be willing to give her another chance back in Ireland. She was travelling over to England here, weren't she? So I'd give her another chance in Ireland, but she'd be off my list for Cheltenham. Which is good in a way. It gives us a bit of an opportunity here. Because now I'd say I'd have a short list of Brighter Days Ahead, Thyestes and Jade de Grugy. Tiger Bay Queen could come into it, but it's getting late in the day now. We've still not seen her. Right, we're on Brighter Days Ahead at double figures. She's into 7-2 favourite now. Thyestes, I don't think is going to move too much in the market, so I'm not too fussed about her ante-post. Jade de Grugy, we have mentioned this horse a few times. So we have in Brighter Days Ahead in the book at double figures. I think it's the right time to get her on side with night and day blowing out there. So this is the first of the bets. We're going to have 2 points on Jade de Grugy at 7-1 non-runner no bet at Sky. If you can get on with them. You can get 8s, but I prefer the non-runner no bet for the sake of a point. She was oh so impressive at Christmas. That form looks strong to me. As I mentioned in my last video, I think on the line through Jagara and Butcher Hollow, it only puts her a length behind Mystical Power, getting the £7 mare's allowance. I know it can be a bit, you don't want to take the form lines too literally, but still, I mean, visually and on paper, that looks a good performance. It were 2.5 on heavy, so, and she looked to be going further and further away at the end there. So she's going to have to prove her effectiveness back in trip on better ground, most probably. I guess that's your question mark, but she didn't look slow, did she? We've got the Solarina, haven't we, this weekend? I haven't seen the entries yet. They'll be coming out, I think, tomorrow. It's just possible she could clash with Brighter Days Ahead there. I think Luck to the West will go to the Solarina. She's going to have her chance in the Solarina, but as I mentioned previously, she does edge right at every hurdle, so, I wouldn't have her on my mind for Cheltenham, really. if Brighter Days Ahead and Jade Jagruzi clash at the weekend, and Brighter Days Ahead has got all the entries. She's even entered for the 2 mile grade one at Leopardstown, and I wouldn't mind her in that race. She wouldn't have to win that. I don't think she'd be disgraced there. I think she'd be kind of better going left-handed a little. But Fairy House right-handed in the Solarina. I know it's 2-2. The 2-2 will suit her, but I prefer a left-handed. But in any case, if her and Jade Jagruzi do clash in the Solarina, the winner there, I'd be fairly confident one of these two would take it, and the winner there to me would be maybe 5-2 for Cheltenham. So, yeah, I think we've got a good opportunity here to cover Jade Jagruzi and put us in a strong position for that race at Cheltenham. I think all we got to do then is maybe have a little on Dysart Enos closer to the time if she gets there. Right. Two-mile grade 2 Lightning Novice Chase, JPR1 beat Matata half a length. He did this well, and he looks a place contender for the Arkle. But I suspect Connections and Marine National aren't losing any sleep over this. 2 mile 6 Fleur de Lis Chase, La Hompresse beat Protectorat just over 2 lengths. This were good. It's been out a while. Nice to see him back. He's a classy horse. He is. He's a previous Cheltenham winner. This were good. He looked pretty fit here. I don't think he'll come on a huge amount physically, but he did look understandably a little short of match sharpness in places. So come on in that respect, I think. In truth, we said, haven't we, if Galloping brings his A game to the Gold Cup, all these are playing for places, and you chuck Lampress there as a place contender. Turles, 2.5 mile grade 2 Mares Novice Chase, Harmonia Maker beat Hauturier a length and a half here. I think it was 2-6 on heavy, weren't it, at Limerick last time? Harmonia Maker, I thought ran well but didn't get home. She got home well enough here over the 2.5 on better ground. And Hauturier to me just looked on the edge the whole way round, going just half a stride quicker than she maybe wanted to. She weren't quite in a comfort zone. The jumping as a result were a little scruffy. Yeah, we thought Hauturier were coming into it as an interesting sort of outsider for the Mares Chase. After watching this, she's off that list. She looks to me like she wants heavy ground and further. I'm very close in this Mares Chase to putting up Limerick Lace. I may even play her this week, I'm not sure. Got Dino Blue in there, 5-4 favourite. Limerick Lace, I think, is 6-1 top price or 9-2 non-winner no bet. I think if that 9-2 were fives, I'd probably maybe take it. Just with same connections having Dino Blue in there. You wonder if maybe they'd go the handicap route, possibly with Limerick Lace. I think she's more than likely to run here, but just like that non-runner no bet insurance if you could. 9-2 could still be alright. I don't know, I've not decided, but I think she's rapidly improving a Limerick Lace. We've got Night and Day could come into this if she can put in another good performance next time. But yeah, I think Limerick Lace is rapidly improving. I do cracking run in the Troy Town. She'd looked plenty pacey enough last time that Donny dropped in trip. I think she's on the improve. And yeah, she'd be top of my list at the minute anyway for that race. Right, yeah. The 2.5 mile grade 2 horse and jockey Allaho beat Statler 13 lengths here. Allaho jumped off in front. Never saw another rival here. Statler tried to throw down a challenge 3 out, and he were quickly swatted aside by Allaho, who put in a good jump 2 out. He put this to bed between the last two. He quickened up there, and that was the only time in the race they clocked over 30 mile an hour. Envoy Allen were taken out, which was shame. Appreciate it, just blew out here. He were really disappointing. Allaho, we were allowed to dictate at a pretty sedate pace for most of the race here. In fact, Harmonimaker clocked a 4.5 second quicker time half an hour earlier, albeit carrying £10 less. So as it turned out, I don't think this form's worth that much. However, I did feel kind of more positive about his Cheltenham chances after this. I'm wondering why, really, because like I said, I don't think this was worth much. And I think it's because he returned out quick enough here after the King George, and he's sort of stood up to that physically. His class is not in doubt, this horse. He's a beast, he is. But when a horse comes back after a year off as a 10-year-old, you kind of, I am anyway, you're expecting the wheels to fall off at some point. And the fact he backed up his King George run fairly quickly, it gives you some hope in that regard. Like, you know, he stood up to that. He's constitutionally sort of stood up to that. In previous years, it's worth remembering, Willie's got massive improvement out of this horse from his prep it going into Cheltenham. The Ryanair doesn't look so deep. I think you've got the top four in the betting, haven't you? You've got Allaho, Banbridge, Stage Star, Envoy Allen. Possibly Gordon's horse, Phil Daw, could come into this as well. And that's about it, I'd say. So it doesn't look overly deep. If any horse can do this, it's Allaho. It is. You say you get top class horses, don't you? We said before, and then you get these legends, you know, and he's one of them. He sits in that legendary status. So if any horse can do it, it's him. I think for the first time this season, I've actually considered that he might actually do this. As the screws get tightened closer to the race, horses fall by the wayside. He would probably be a more likely candidate than most to maybe fall by the wayside there. So if you did play him, I would take the non-runner no bet. I think just at the minute, I think if he got his ground, I think Banbridge would still be my bet. Yeah. I'll toyed with Banbridge. The best you can get is 4-1 non-runner no bet. I don't think you're getting much there, are you? But non-runner no bet's important with him. But you're not getting much. The only way really that looks good is if, say, something did happen to Allaho and he didn't get there. Then you'd be looking quite good with your 4-1. I'll leave that just for the minute. But yeah. it's good for Mallow, albeit the form isn't worth much here. Right then, the 2 mile 6.5 novice hurdle, high class hero, justified short odds are 2 to 7 to beat Easy Fella nearly 2 lengths, with What Path a further 3/4 of a length back in third. What Path led, Easy Fella sat second, and High Class Hero third. They went pretty slow here early on, and not much happened for a good while. From 5 out, Easy Fella started pressing What Path, with High Class Hero just tracking them through. Jumping 2 out, High Class Hero, he was produced between the front two and he was travelling much the best. He went on there, fluffed the last, and he was kept up to his work to win easy enough. He won snug. What Path, he looked well beat here on the running, but he stayed on quite takingly close home, and he were right on top of them just through the line. This were good if not spectacular. It was maybe a little underwhelming, but he hadn't run for a good while and he was probably a bit rusty and maybe needed this. He's unbeaten, and reading between the lines of Willie's comments pre-race, I suspect he might be the stable number 1 at the minute for the Albert Bartlett. What Path looks quite exposed, but he was kind of an eye catcher here for me. I mean, you kind of wonder what had happened if it had been 3 mile, you know. Before the race, Willie were sort of saying the ground's quite important for this fella. He wants like goodish ground. He said any rain wouldn't help his cause. He'd be interesting for me at 3 mile on decent ground, this horse. He's got a rating of 134, which looks maybe he won't look thrown in for anything, I don't think, off that mark. But yeah, I just think 3 mile on decent ground in the spring, he could be an interesting horse, this What Path. Right, this is where the other bet comes in now. You know, I like this horse, Reading Tommy Wrong. Now, I'm confident there's nothing in the Albert Bartlett that would have been taken that low as an ace race. As such, I think if he lined up, he'd be the best horse in the race, and I think he'd love that 3 mile. I think he could improve again for that. At the moment, it would appear the Ballymore is his most likely destination, but things can change, can't they, you know, especially with Willie. He's 7 to 1 non-runner no bet. He's a top price 8 to 1. I think that's a cracking price, I do, if he lines up here. I don't think he'll be anything like 7 to 1. We'll have 5 points on that. Yeah, we'll have a bit of a lash at that. Like I say, maybe more likely to go Ballymore, but you never know. Ginto, he took the Lawlers, didn't he, and ended up, there was 2 in and throwing, weren't there, between the Ballymore and Albert Bartlett, and he ended up going Albert Bartlett, and he'd have gone close, he would have done. Yeah, I like that 7 to 1. I think that's a cracking price, I do. We may just be getting our money back, but yeah, we either get our money back or we got a good bet there, I'd say. Right then, there's some fantastic racing to look forward to next couple of weeks, isn't there? We've got the Thyestes meeting on Thursday, Cheltenham Trials meeting at the weekend, the Solarina at the weekend, and then the weekend after on to Dublin Art with the DRF. We're going to learn a lot. We're going to learn plenty over the next couple of weeks, and hopefully we can make a few quid along the way as well. Sort of swell those Cheltenham coffers a little. I've already had a little bet on the Thyestes. I played Dunboyne each way. He ran a career best in this last year. I thought he ran a cracker first time up this season in the Troy Town, conceding race fitness to the three who finished in front of him. He is £5 higher this year. He's off a nice weight, 10-3, but he is £5 higher. But I think he looks sure to be involved here. I think Gordon saved him for this after the Troy Town. So I'll have him bang on for this. There's plenty with chances, there is, but I think he looks sure to be involved here, and I think he looks a solid each way bet. He is into 7-1 now, and maybe just at the moment you might be best just waiting till the day or the evening before and get extra places, because it's only first four at the minute. You'll get first five, maybe even first six, and you'll probably not lose that much on price. You might even get a bit bigger. I suspect he's not going to be a wildly popular selection. So I think he's a solid each way bet there. The only each way bet we put up so far this season's Lucia, and she won. So typical, But and that's that then. Right, thanks for your time then. I do appreciate it. I really do. I won't see you before Thyestes Day. I'll see you again Friday morning. We'll get one done Friday morning and have a look at the weekend's racing. So all the best then. Take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.